Hi, my name is Matthew Ebert. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a Fletcher Pilates teacher based in San Francisco, California. And today with this video, we're going to be going over breath and breath work, and what better way to do it than being outside in our backyard with all this fresh air. So just pray that there's nobody working on their backyard and we get a leaf blower in the background. So breath is something that's important to me and something that I don't see get taught enough. And so we want to be able to move with our breath because it's going to lead to more organic movement, but as well as the fact that we want to be able to know where we're breathing, how we're breathing, and if we have any holding patterns, right? So that we're able to use the full capacity of our breath and connect into our abdominals, right? So in Fletcher Pilates, we have an audible breath, and I'm just going to encourage you to move and play with your breath through some of these exercises. So let's just find how we're breathing, and let's just breathe normally, taking in through the nose, out through the nose. And you can have your hands down by your side. You can place them onto your rib cage, and then just as I said, in and out through the nose. And just trying to feel that rise and fall of the rib cage as you breathe in and out. And hopefully you're noticing that as we stay in and out through the nose, right, there's not really a lot of movement here through the rib cage. It's what we would say a very small or shallow breath, right? And now let's switch it up. Let's take it in through the nose, out through the mouth. And it doesn't matter if you're making a sound at the moment. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Right, hopefully we're getting more of an expansive breath. Really try to feel the rise on the inhale and the fall on the exhale. You can hear my breath is starting to switch now. I can already feel my percussive breathing coming in. Go away for now. I'm gonna do one more like this. So you may have heard my percussive breathing is starting to sneak in on me a little bit. So we have what's called an audible breath. So you're going to be able to hear it. So that's another kind of fun factor, is that as we're breathing, we want to think about the diaphragm or the abdominals, however you want to look at it, pushing out all of the air, right? So in terms of the sound, it's going to create one or two things. You hear a lot in the gym, right? There's a lot of grunting, but you hear a lot of focus, even in Pilates sometimes, that there's an exhale to contract the muscles, right? And everybody wants this complete, total contraction to bring the muscles into that contracted state. And then it'll make a sound, right? So depending on the grunter, I'm going to say it can sound more like a hissing sound up at the top, or it could be more of like a baritone down at the bottom. So we want to think about the low belly, right? Trying to push out all the air, right? So if you're kneading the dough, we're going to start at the bottom and push it all the way up to expel forward. Right? So you can kind of hear it now. Let's just play with the levels. Taking it in through the nose, out through the mouth. For now, we're going to stay high. Right, and just feel what that does to the abdominals here. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Right, so my mouth is making a lot of the noise. I can feel a lot of tension through my neck muscles. A little bit in the abdominals, not that much, but the ones up here, like the first and second quadrants, what I'm going to say for Fletcher Pilates. If you don't know what those terms are, we have another video for standing and centering, and you can refer to that. All right, now let's try to take it down a little bit lower into the low belly, right? Here we go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, in and out. Let's do one more. Right, so even with this sound, you can either, and depending on your low belly, we want to be thinking of the lowest abdominal muscles, your lowest belly, right? Pushing out all of the air. So if you have more of a soprano, alto, tenor, try to take it down a notch or two in the middle, or even down into the baritone. Baritone? Is that the final one? I don't know, not a singer, I dance, right? So take it down a couple octaves. And just see how that affects how you're connecting in to all 4 quadrants. Okay, and now let's see how and where we're breathing. So we looked at sound and we changed how we're breathing, whether it's in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth, right? Because we want to fully expand our breath from all sides. Okay. So we're going to do some bucket handle breathing. You're going to place one hand onto your chest. I'm going to switch hands. I always place that hand in front. One hand to the chest, one to the backs of the ribs. Right, so your hands are sandwiching the body right here. And same thing that we just did, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, really try to feel that rise of the rib cage as you inhale and falls on the exhale. Right, so there's one section that's going to be a little bit easier than the other for me, for most people. The chest is a little bit easier. So think of breathing into that back hand, to the backs of the rib and back of the rib cage. And you could also think of the hands pulling apart on the inhale. And exhale, they clap together, so to speak. Let's do one more breath. I'll shut up. Ah, right? So especially that back ribs, they don't like to move very often. So we want to try to focus our attention where it's a little bit harder. And now let's go back to the sides. We did this kind of earlier without any thought. Now we're going to see from right to left if there's one side that likes to inflate a little bit more than the other, because we want to symmetrically expand the rib cage to the sides of the room. All right, here we go. And deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, ribs to the sides. Press your stomach to your spine. 2 more breaths. One more. Ah, doesn't that feel good? Okay, so if you feel a little lightheaded or a little bit tingly, that's going to happen. It will dissipate over time the more you work breath and breath capacity, right, or the volume of breath. And again, it's important, especially if you're new to Pilates, right, and somebody decides to throw in hundreds and the classical version, in for 5, out through 5. It's a lot to take 5 inhales, out for 5, right? So you want to be able to build up to that point, right, without getting dizzy and going cross-eyed and seeing doubles. And then it's also just good for our other sports as well, like when we're swimming and you're trying to take that breath out of the water, right? You want a nice big breath, not something that's tiny. So we're going to work with our breath, play around with our breath. Something that I see that happens a lot in terms of how it's taught as well is that, excuse me, again, I kind of mentioned this earlier, there is a focus more about the exhale. Even for some of the teachers in the studio where I'm at, I see everybody go, and exhale. Same thing in the gym, exhale, contract. But then I don't really see any inhale afterwards. And the inhale is just important, if not more, right? It's called the breath of life. We need to get more in so we can expel it out. So out the air to in the air, and we want an even inhalation to exhalation, right? So that's our goal. Nice, big, extravagant, expansive breath. Here we go. And now just move with me while we're doing it. Think about your breath, how you're breathing, where you're breathing. I'm going to play around with my breath a little bit. So I'm maybe in for 1, out for 4, and etc. So let's move. Just make sure that you have somewhere where there's no furniture around. I'll keep it kind of tight. Right. Oh, there's the sun. Hello. And then I have shoes on right now because my floor is cold. I'm outside. I'm going to turn 3/4 so, so that I don't see a blue spot where I'm supposed to see a screen. Okay. And starting with the breath again. Just stand up nice and tall, feet all the way together. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. You may make a sound, you may not, it doesn't matter. really just feeling the rib cage rise on the inhale. Connect into the abdominals on the exhale. One more. All right, let's move. Come into our plie to stay, holding it here. We're going to pulse, which is a deepening, and it's 2 in, 2 out. Inhale, exhale. Last set. Deepen, lengthen the legs, and lift all 10 toes. Come to a turned out position. All right. Let's go slower. I changed my mind, right? So we start with this one. Let's shift the hips on a full breath. Full breath up. Oh, excuse me. Well, I guess I'm using my abdominals. It happens. Right, so we're going a little slower now. Scoop the arms. So I may refer to this as fifth position, but it's a scoop position, and we want the fingertipsies over the crown of the head. All right, and now from here, round forward. Right, kind of similar to how we do our hundreds when we prepare, or the first part of our roll up. Similar also to our upper contraction if you would take Fletcher Pilates, right? There it is. The only difference is my hands are in a scoop position. Here we go. 2 more. One more time. That's it? Okay. I switched the breath a couple times, I'm so sorry. All right, let's open out. And I'm extending my arms. You can keep them in the scoop position. I'm really just trying to think of reaching out. That's why I'm doing it. Oh, I don't know if you heard that click. That felt good. Now from here, we're gonna do some twisting. So hands can either come here, onto the shoulders, or across. I'll leave that up to you. Full breath. Just the chest, hips face forward to your front, wherever you are in space. Deep breath in and out. On these last breaths, think of lengthening up through the crown of the head. Get a little taller. Don't try to lose any inches. On our way out the door, away from our garden, wherever we are. And that's it. Thank you for joining me. So I hope you had fun playing around with your breath and breath patterning. Excuse me, I'm sorry, yet again. So, the inhale is just as important because it provides length and space, right? So make sure you're breathing in as well as breathing out. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time.